At the end of this video, you're going to have your first Codex skill up and running, and there's no prior experience needed. If you've pasted the same instructions into Claude or ChatGPT 5 times in the last week, then you need to be using Skills. Skills make tools like Codex remember a workflow forever and load it only when relevant. That also self-improves over time if you give it feedback. What you're going to learn in this video can be applied to Claude as well, so not just the Codex OpenAI ecosystem. But this video is going to focus on setting it up inside of Codex because I've been using Codex a lot lately and really enjoy building with it. Think of a skill as an onboarding guide for a hire. You wouldn't explain your process every single day to them. You would instead give them a document that you'd expect them to learn and then repeat over and over again. So that's all a skill is. It's a document of instructions that the AI agent can pull up whenever it needs to do a task. So how does that work? So you have your list of skills in Codex, and when you ask the agent a question, it has the list of skills, including the title and description in its context when your session starts. This is going to give the AI agent knowledge of all of the skills you have, but not the full document of each skill, because that would take up too much context. Once Codex decides to use a skill, it will load in the full context of that skill into the session. So what this means is you can have dozens of skills without slowing down or impairing the quality of your agent working inside of Codex or inside of Claude Code or any agentic tool that you're using. Skills are also composable, which means that the same skill you write inside of Codex can be used elsewhere. So here under plugins, you go up to the top and you can see skills. So you can extend Codex's capabilities with task-specific skills. So for example, we have an installed skill of a design taste front-end V1. So if you click on it, we can see this document, which is basically a really long document about creating design that looks good. So this is just one example of the skill. As you can see, it's just a big markdown file. And I have a bunch of skills that I've installed over time on my Codex app. And there's skills on GitHub, for example, that you can tell Codex to go find and install on its own. So that's one way of doing it. Now, the other way of doing it is asking it to create a skill for us. And I'm going to show you how that works. So this is just going to be a very simple example of a skill. When writing, I never want to use M dashes. Can you make a skill for that, please? So that's the prompt I'm doing. Codex is going to know what to do. It's going to use the skill creator. So what it's going to do is create a skill that's going to look for any time we ask for writing. And then the skill instructions are going to say to not use M dashes. Now, this is a really tiny preference skill and maybe something that wouldn't make sense to necessarily create a whole skill just for this. You might want to put it inside of a bigger writing skill, but this is just an example to show you what's possible. So yes, you're going to allow it to create this skill, and it's basically going to save it onto my computer in the personal skills folder. Now it's creating the skill. So you can see it's creating an MD file, which is a markdown file. All right, so it created the personal skill, and now let's test it out. So I'm going to assign a prompt, write a marketing email for No Code MBA to potential customers. Here I see no M dashes, but what I want to do is do a new chat and see if that also works, and especially see if we see it pull up the skill. One thing I can show you is if we do a / command and we search for no M dashes, that'll pull up. So we can manually pull the skill in anytime we want, but I'm curious to see if it pulls it in automatically the way that we want. And there we go. Perfect. So we see I'll use your no M dashes writing preference here since this is user facing marketing copy. Amazing. So it's going to read the skill and then we're going to get no M dashes in our email. Amazing. Okay. So something as small as that, but actually I'm glad I created it because it is annoying to have M dashes in your writing. AI just loves to do it. And now the AI is smart enough that if it reads some instructions to not do it, it won't. But now I don't have to repeatedly tell it over and over again. So yeah, it worked. And now you know how to create skills, and you can do that for anything that you want inside of Codex. Something that you should know, which I created another video on. So click the link in the description to go to that video to see a full walkthrough of it. Another way to create a skill, which is really cool, is /record and replay. So if you click that and then ask it to start, it will record your screen, and then you can do a repeatable task. Like let's say you do data entry or something like that. You can do that task, and then Codex will create a skill based on the video recording. So very cool feature. So it's another way to create a skill. Click the link in the description to watch that video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content like this. Things are changing so quickly in the AI world, so I'm doing my best to keep you updated. Go to nocode.mba/newsletter if you want to subscribe to our AI daily newsletter. I read it every single morning. If you liked this video, you're definitely going to enjoy the newsletter. So go to nocode.mba/newsletter to join for free, and leave a comment below to let me know what you think of this video or if there's anything you want me to cover in the future. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.